Thank you for coming in. What are we talking about today? We're talking about two things. Number one is I wanted to give you all the opportunity to hear a little bit more about the notice of motion on the Economic Resiliency Fund that I will be presenting to Council on Monday. So we have been able to, towards the end of the year, realize that through various budget savings and efficiencies, we've identified a one-time surplus that we don't think will be repeated in 2016 of about $30 million. And normally that would flow into the city savings accounts. But I think that this year, given the economic downturn we're facing, it's time to use that money right away to do some good for people. So I'm proposing to Council that we roll back the fare increases for Calgary Transit and for recreation that are slated to take effect on January 1st. That we create an emergency fund for nonprofit organizations that are finding themselves with very high demand or a sudden loss of revenue from a sponsor who just can't afford, for example, to give that money anymore to get them through the rough patch, and that we use a big chunk of that money to further our commitments towards more affordable housing.
Yeah, almost half to affordable housing. Can you explain how you broke that down and why that amount?
We have been underfunding the affordable housing portfolio for some time, so the math is really easy. I figured out how much it would take to do the transit and rec, how much made sense for the nonprofits, and the rest went to affordable housing, which is still, it's not a drop in the bucket, it's a big number, but we still need to do more to address the housing crisis in the city.
What will it do as opposed to adding to more administration stuff? Or what tangible results will you get? Yes.
So I've actually been purposely vague on this. I'm not usually purposely vague, but I actually have asked members of the affordable housing community to say, all right, if there's an amount of money that could be used here, get back to us and tell us the highest leverage for that money. So whether it is as seed capital to attract matching funds from private and other government funders, whether it is going towards a project that needs just a little bit of money to get over the hurdle so that it can get built right away, if some of it needs to go to operational needs, so for example, if we're seeing an increase in people who just need help with one month's rent so they don't get evicted and fall into homelessness. I've asked our Calgary Housing Business Unit to go out and think about how to use that very, very quickly and report back to Council early in 2016 on the highest possible leverage for those dollars.
When it comes to transit, if you, say, put off a fare increase this year, don't you set up a year from now, make a double increase?
Yeah, the challenge with the freeze that I am proposing is that it is for 1 year only because this is one-time money. So you would still see an increase for transit fares and for recreation fees in 2017. That said, we got a year. So if we have a year in which we are able to identify other cost savings, then we could look at mitigating those increases at that time. But I wanted to put money in people's pockets right away.